NewsClick founder and editor Prabir Purkayastha has been sent to police remand under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. This follows after the Delhi police on 3rd October 2023 raided journalists and other individuals associated with the leftist media outlet. The raided journalists include prominent YouTuber Abhisar Sharma, who is known for peddling fake news and propaganda. The Delhi police also searched the residence of CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri, who himself has contributed articles to the propaganda outlet NewsClick. Controversial activist Teesta Setalwad's Mumbai house was also raided in the matter, as she is the director of the think tank Tricontinental Institute for Social Research, which has contributed to NewsClick with articles. Immediately after the arrest, the Congress party and several of its leaders came out in support of NewsClick, condemning the raids. NewsClick, Communists, Congress. We need to do a little deep dive and connect the dots to reveal the picture hidden in plain sight. Chapter 1: The NYT Investigation. The crackdown against NewsClick is said to have begun after, in August 2023, a report published by the New York Times revealed that an American millionaire named Neville Roy Singham was funding several news publications across the world, including NewsClick, to peddle Chinese propaganda. It noted that the news outlet had repeated the talking points of the CCP in the past. Fun fact: Prabir Purkayastha has also appeared in the official website of the Communist Party of India, Marxist. Here's a sample from a recent article by NewsClick on India's International Maritime Economic Corridor. It is sheer baloney that China will lose sleep over the IMEC lest it spelled doom for the Belt and Road. In reality, the IMEC is peanuts compared to China's proposed $57.7 billion plan to construct a 1,860-mile or 3,028-kilometer rail system. Other than the US or India, no IMEC participant, including Israel, is inclined to take sides in the US-China confrontation. Why would they want to isolate China, which has so much to offer for their growth and development? All in all, it seems around 3,035 kilometers of railway lines need to be built. That's no small matter. It adds up to something like the distance from Delhi to Tirunanthapuram. Who else but Chinese companies can undertake such a daunting task in a foreseeable future? Here's what they wrote about India inviting President Biden for the 2024 Republic Day celebrations. Evidently, Delhi's simplistic assumption that the US regards India as counterweight to China, blah blah, is a deeply flawed estimation of big power politics, bordering on naivete, albeit encouraged by the Western commentators. The naivete reached its apogee in our clumsy move to appease Washington by inviting Biden as a chief guest at the Republic Day celebrations in January and on holding a Quad summit in Delhi at the same time as the icing on the cake. We cannot be any more dumb-witted than that. During the pandemic, NewsClick's editor-in-chief extolled China's measures, saying centralized quarantine done by Chinese authorities helped to reduce the cases in China and that the protective gear provided by China to its medical staff ensured not one of the 42,000 staff got infected. He also praised the Chinese army for their service. China has shown the way, but does the rest of the world understand what has happened, and does it have the will to follow it? He had said. On the other hand, Prabir was very critical of Indian government's measure, claiming that the lockdown strategy had not effectively curbed the epidemic's growth and there was a lack of focus on contact tracing, testing and isolating positive cases. Another entity that emerged in the aftermath of the New York Times article was Tricontinental, a US-based think tank with leftist Vijay Prashad as its executive director, which received funding from Neville Roy Singham and promoted Chinese propaganda. Vijay Prashad is the nephew of Brinda Karat, a CPIM leader, and wife of Prakash Karat, also a CPIM leader, whose email exchanges with Neville Roy Singham have revealed their close ties in the scandal. He has been lauded by the Chinese state media for speaking up for communist China against the capitalist US. He has openly vouched for the revival of Maoism, also known as Naxalism, in India. So it is clear that NewsClick is nothing but a mouthpiece of the Chinese Communist Party in India. Take a look at the Congress Party statements during this period and there won't be much difference. Chapter 2: The ED Investigation. In February 2021, the Enforcement Directorate found several incriminating documents and suspicious financial transactions from the residence of Prabir Purkayastha. The investigation revealed that an overseas fund amounting to 38.05 crore rupees was deceitfully injected into NewsClick over a span of 3 years. The received funds purportedly found their way to numerous contentious figures like Gautam Navlakha and Teesta Setalwat's family. Gautam Navlakha is one of the urban Naxals arrested in the Bhima Koregaon case and allegedly has links with Pakistan's ISI. Following his arrest, it was reported that Gautam Navlakha was in touch with Hizbul Mujahideen terrorists as well. Gautam Navlakha was an independent partner of PP NewsClick Studio LLP, which owns NewsClick. Teesta Setalwat was arrested by the Gujarat ATS in June 2022 and has been accused of financial fraud and fabricating witness statements in the Gujarat riots case. Her husband Javed Anand received 12.61 lakh rupees, her daughter Tamara received 10.93 lakh rupees, and her son Gibran also received an undisclosed amount. NewsClick had received 10 crore rupees under foreign direct investment from an American company, but Prabir Purkayastha couldn't substantiate its expenses. Purkayastha also took 1.5 crore rupees in the name of maintenance, and interestingly, he had hired a 9th class pass electrician for maintenance at his office. The ED also revealed that another NewsClick employee had received 52 lakh rupees from an American company who reportedly has connections with CPI, as he worked in the IT cell of CPI and managed the Twitter accounts of CPI leaders. Chapter 3: Congress's Love for China. Neville Roy Singham served as Chief Technical Officer of Chinese telecom giant Huawei from 2001 to 2008. Huawei has been flagged by multiple governments across the world for alleged security issues over its links to the CCP and is often cited as a company controlled by the Chinese government. In 2005, Jairam Ramesh released his book titled Making Sense of Chindia: Reflections on China and India, in which he not only expresses his admiration for China but also heavily lobbies for Huawei. Huawei found its mention 4 times in the 130-page book. He mentioned that Huawei employed 500 Indian engineers and expressed dismay that Indian security establishments had expressed concerns about the company. He wrote, "We seem to be prisoners of the old mindset when it comes to Chinese investments in India." His love for China and Huawei once again came to the fore in 2010 during his visit to China as Minister of State for Environment and Forests, when he said that alarmist and paranoid policies of the Indian Home Ministry towards Chinese companies and projects were a threat to the ties between the two nations. Between 2005 and 2007, the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, an extension of the Congress Party, had received funds to the tune of 1.35 crore rupees from the Chinese government. Fast forward 10 years. In 2017, Rahul Gandhi clandestinely met Chinese ambassador to India, Luo Zhaohui, at a time when India was handling the Doklam standoff. Again in 2018, Rahul Gandhi himself revealed about secret meeting with Chinese ministers during his Kailash trip. He has hailed China by peddling a fake news on global platforms a number of times.
China produces 50,000 new jobs every 24 hours. In the same amount of time, in the same 24 hours, India, a country that is approximately the same size as China, produces only 450. 50,000 jobs every 24 hours in China. 450 jobs in 24 hours in India.
The public statements and activities of Rahul Gandhi post the Galwan Valley clash are all the more controversial. During his talk at Cambridge in March 2023, Rahul Gandhi heaped praises on China, calling it a force of nature and justifying China's authoritarianism, saying Chinese value societal harmony and is legitimate for them to be that way. So why is Rahul Gandhi speaking that seems favorable to China? In August 2008, the Sonia Gandhi-led Congress and the Communist Party of China signed a Memorandum of Understanding for exchanging high-level information and cooperation between them. The MOU also said that the two parties would consult each other on bilateral, regional and international developments. The deal was signed by none other than the then Congress General Secretary Rahul Gandhi on the Indian side and current Chinese President Xi Jinping, who was then the Vice President of the country. Now, this is not an agreement that was signed between two governments. As reported, it was strictly on party-to-party basis, and in China, it is the Communist Party that runs the government. The Chinese Communist Party signed the pact with the Congress as it wanted deeper ties with the Congress, especially with the Gandhi family. Final chapter: connecting the dots. NewsClick has received funds from a man who has direct contact with the propaganda arm of the Communist Party of China. It has in turn given money to people like Gautam Navlakha and Teesta Setalwad. Members of the Communist Party of India, Marxist, part of the INDI alliance, share a close relationship with NewsClick. The leftist outlet brazenly peddles propaganda favorable to China while deriding the government of India. If one were to look at Rahul Gandhi's activities and statements in the recent past, it would very much align with the views peddled by NewsClick. And when NewsClick journalists were raided and its editor-in-chief arrested, the Congress party jumped in to condemn it, calling it an attack on press freedom. So that brings us to the question: what are the fine prints of the MOU signed between the Congress party and the Chinese Communist Party?